working with their students to make sure today's walkout goes smoothly and, most importantly, safely.
Joining us right now to talk about some of what's going on in the district this morning is the Superintendent Jennifer Cheatham. Good morning. Good to see you again.
Good morning, Adam. Good to see you.
As we were talking, my wife's a teacher, my parents are teachers. We always talk about teachable moments in everything. When you kind of heard about this and you started looking into what this might entail, what's the teachable moment for you here?
That's a great question, Adam. You know, we want our students to graduate ready for college, career, and full participation in their community. We value student voice. I think that's, you know, it's funny. Is it a teachable moment for the students? Yes. About how to raise their voices, how to do so in respectful and responsible ways. It's also a teachable moment for us, the grown-ups, and I hope we'll be willing to listen to what they have to say.
What do you hope, then, that the grown-ups get out of this? Because I don't know if we've heard about that yet. I mean, how have you prepared your staff and teachers and administrators for all of this today?
Yeah, it's a great question, too. We have encouraged students to stay in school. We always want them to be in the learning space. And in the learning space, we always encourage teachers to examine issues, current events from every perspective. That's part of learning. And we know some students are going to choose to participate. So we've communicated through our administrators to parents to have conversations with our students about how to participate, how to do so safely. But I think getting back to my initial point, if we really value student voice, I just think that there's something for the grown-ups to be thinking about today too, not just the educators, all of us. I hope we'll be listening to what the students have to say.
It's interesting you bring that up because we had a conversation yesterday with a psychiatrist from the University of Wisconsin, and as a parent of younger children, I mean, I was very curious to hear what they thought about all of this, and they're not going to be walking out because they're not allowed to do so in elementary school, but it's a different message for them than it is maybe for the middle and the high school students, right? I mean, it's an interesting kind of tailoring who gets what out of this and how.
Absolutely. I mean, everything we do has to be developmentally appropriate. I have a kindergartner in school, as you know, during the 17 minutes where many educators and children will be honoring the victims of the Parkland shooting. The kindergartners won't be talking about that in my son's class, but they will be reading a book about kindness today, right? So it's all about being developmentally appropriate.
19 years ago, I covered the aftermath of Columbine in Denver, and at that point, everybody said enough. I guess at what point do you say, you know, when is this going to end?
I think that's the question that the youth are asking us, right? When is it enough? And not just violence in schools, but violence in their communities. All right, I used to work in Chicago, as you know. My sister is a school counselor on the west side of Chicago, the school counselor of the year for our country. And the students in her school are traumatized by the gun violence in their community. So these are great questions for us to be grappling with. I'm not going to propose exactly what the answers are, but they're very important questions that the youth are asking us to consider.
Up to all of us to listen.
No kidding. No kidding. Dr. Cheatham, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
6:38 right now, and the political world is watching what's going on in Pennsylvania this morning as absentee ballots are being counted in an incredibly close congressional election. We'll have an update in the morning.